Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer. For the next few minutes, I want you to think of this as a direct, one-on-one clinical consultation. We're going to completely reframe the whole idea of a sugar detox. We are ripping it away from the exhausting, frankly toxic world of restrictive dieting, and we're looking at it for what it truly is, a cellular-level medical intervention. We're going to explore exactly what happens to your biology when you finally clear out the noise of added sugars. To understand why this intervention is so desperately needed, we have to start with this staggering number, 77. The average American consumes an unbelievable 77 grams of added sugar every single day. To put that into perspective, that's nearly 20 teaspoons, or the equivalent of eating almost 3 full candy bars daily. And the crazy part? Most people don't even realize they're doing it because sugar is hiding absolutely everywhere. This massive hidden consumption is setting the stage for a quiet global epidemic of metabolic dysfunction. So, Section 1, the metabolic diagnosis. Let's diagnose exactly why all this daily sugar is making us sick in the first place. The absolutely crucial point here is understanding the specific mechanism: insulin resistance. As Dr. Alex, an emergency medicine physician, describes it, when you consume high amounts of sugar, your insulin response essentially becomes a hair trigger. Your body is desperately trying to manage this massive daily influx of glucose, so it keeps insulin constantly elevated. And when insulin is always running high, it literally locks fat inside your cells and keeps your body in a perpetual state of metabolic stress. Over time, your cells are just exhausted and they simply stop responding. Moving on to Section 2, evading hidden sugars. Because before we can heal the metabolism, we have to identify the hidden culprits that are keeping us sick. A lot of people fall into a massive trap here, often thanks to some really clever marketing, thinking that natural means metabolically safe. But things like agave, honey, and maple syrup, they still break down into glucose and fructose in your body, driving that exact same insulin response. Even savory processed foods like store-bought marinara or white bread act as hidden sugars. Now, to be clear, we are intentionally avoiding these hidden triggers, not nutrient-dense complex carbohydrates. Real foods like oats, beans, and winter squashes provide essential fiber and stable energy, and those are going to be absolutely crucial for what we're about to do. Which brings us to Section 3, the 30-day adaptation timeline. Let's map out exactly how your body adapts and heals over a month without those added sugars. This timeline brilliantly illustrates the journey your cells are about to take. Let's be real, days 1 through 5 are going to be tough. You're dealing with the harsh withdrawal of dopamine, and your hair trigger insulin is going to cause some energy crashes. But if you push through to week 2, the magic really happens. Your blood glucose tightly regulates, staying in a beautiful, narrow band between 4.5 and 6.5 millimoles per liter. Your liver finally gets the chance to offload stored visceral fat, and by week 4, you reach true deep fat adaptation and systemic cellular healing. If you take away anything about those rough first few days, let it be this clinical truth. The headaches, the irritability, the intense cravings in days 1 through 5, that is simply your brain adjusting to fewer dopamine spikes. It is your body relearning how to manage its own energy without a constant IV drip of glucose. It's uncomfortable, for sure, but it is not a failure. That discomfort is literally the feeling of your biology resetting to baseline. Section 4, clinical protein swaps. Let's get into the specific food prescriptions required to successfully stabilize your system. Think about the stark contrast between a standard breakfast that heavily relies on fruits and hidden sugars versus a high-protein, savory breakfast. If you break your overnight fast with sugar and carbohydrates, you are immediately setting yourself up for a massive blood sugar roller coaster and intense cravings for the rest of the day. Instead, breaking that fast with adequate protein and healthy fat sends a strong signal to your metabolism to burn fat, keeping you incredibly stable and satiated for hours. And hey, when you do eat carbohydrates later in the day, make them count. Complex carbs like sweet potatoes provide incredibly stable blood sugar. And here's the pro tip. When you pair them with healthy fats like avocados, olive oil, or a handful of nuts, you actively decrease those annoying after-meal cravings. Why? Because the fat drastically slows the absorption of glucose right into your bloodstream. Moving to Section 5, healing hormones and sleep. Here is how we balance your endocrine system with lifestyle protocols during the detox. The hard truth is, you literally cannot out-diet poor sleep and high stress. Sleep deprivation directly reduces your insulin sensitivity the very next day. Worse, it disrupts your appetite-regulating hormones, leptin and ghrelin, which practically forces you to crave sugar.
Furthermore, chronic sugar intake keeps your stress hormone cortisol chronically elevated. Using light exercise not only lowers that cortisol, but it boosts BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is amazing for breaking the cycle of emotional eating.
Now, what's really interesting here is this highly effective clinical hack. Consider supplementing with the amino acid glutamine, particularly in the late afternoon when those really intense sugar cravings tend to hit. Glutamine can directly combat hypoglycemia and rapidly regulate your blood sugars. It essentially acts as an emergency brake on your cravings right when your willpower is running on empty.
Finally, Section 6, long-term metabolic flexibility. Let's look at the incredible long-term biological outcomes waiting for you at the end of these 30 days.
By week 4, the changes in your body are systemic. Lowering your visceral fat directly reduces whole body inflammation. Your gut microbiome stabilizes, increasing beneficial bacteria that actually boost your immune function. In your blood, dangerous triglycerides drop and protective HDL cholesterol rises. And perhaps most amazingly, your mitochondria, the actual cellular energy factories inside you, begin to function flawlessly because they are no longer drowning in excess glucose. Even your taste buds recalibrate, making natural, whole foods taste intensely sweet and satisfying again.
All of this builds to a truly profound medical insight from Dr. Alex. He says you're clearing metabolic noise so your system can function the way it's designed to. I love that phrasing. Cutting out added sugar isn't just about fitting into smaller clothes. It is the ultimate investment in your cellular health, your cognitive function, and your long-term longevity. You are literally getting under the hood and repairing your machinery at the microscopic level. Which leaves us with this final, really exciting thought. If a mere 30 days can dramatically lower inflammation, repair your insulin sensitivity, and restore your natural, boundless energy, what will your cells be capable of when you finally clear the metabolic noise for good? I really challenge you to look at a 30-day reset not as some temporary, restrictive diet, but as your personal gateway to lifelong metabolic flexibility.